Good evening, friends. I am back again, and I would like to start from where I stopped last time. Before that, let me humbly request all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed, and then please press the bell icon so that you get the indication of the next video whenever I upload it, and also like or dislike as per your choice, maybe after seeing the video. So press the like button after seeing the video. So let me begin from where I stopped. So last time I was saying that in Hinduism, there is only one God. Now you cannot call it one God because it is all pervading. So ultimately, we should be saying that there is God, nothing but God. God is all pervading and it exists everywhere in the smaller than the smallest, that is the atom, and the larger than that, larger than the largest, that is the universe. It is all pervading and it is filled or present everywhere. And it is shapeless, formless, it is vast, it is beyond all imagination. All that has been clearly told by me to you. Now, when I say this, then many people may come up with a question. If that is the case, Hindus are seen to be worshipping lot of deities, stones, animals, and even otherwise, there are many supernatural gods like Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, Parvati, and many gods. Okay, so what are they? And the Hindus are seen to be going to the temple and worshipping. So one side we say that there is no God, on one side we say there is no form, and yet Hindus are seen to be worshipping form, a God with forms, with hands, legs, and all. See, I'll be coming to this one by one. I have to clear one by one and then get to the next step. Otherwise, everything will seem very confusing. So let me clear the first part, that is the formless one God. So, as I said, the God of Hinduism is formless, it's vast, it's huge, it's beyond all imagination, it's all pervading. Now, when I say it is formless, even though it is formless, the fact of the matter is it is formless. Even though it is formless, we human beings, we need some sign, some symbol, some image, or something that will tell us symbolically that this is so. Like for example, when it comes to a bird, we use the word bird, B-I-R-D, bird. From where did this word generate? For some reason, human being created a word for it. Animal, dog, cat, everything is denoted with a sound. We allot a certain sound for everything and we attribute that sound to that particular creature or substance or object. In the same way, we need a name for the formless. We need a sign, a design for the formless. Now, how do we create a sign or a design or an image for the formless? So, thousands of years back in India, we call them the rishis, the saints or the sages. They, through their meditative power, claims to have heard the sound of the universe. Now, logically, when we are talking, we may not believe in it. We may not believe that it is possible to hear the sound of the universe with the small, tiny ears of ours. Of course, we have certain limitations. We have the sense organs, and the sense organ of ours have lot of limits. For example, our eyes cannot see too bright light. We cannot see in the dark. We need sufficient light. There is a certain amount of light that is required, or there is a maximum that can be that is visible to our eyes. If there is too much light or too little light, we cannot. In the same way, if the sound is too high, the decibel is too high or too low, we may not be able to hear. Sometimes, maybe the ants, the small tiny ants or small creatures may be talking, but the decibel of that sound may be too tiny or too less for our ears to hear. So that could be the case. We don't know. It's assumption. Anyway, whatever it is, these ears of ours cannot listen to too less a sound, and we cannot hear to too huge a sound, big sound, a heavy sound. Our ears cannot hear it. So in the same way, we are talking about the sound of the universe. Now this sound is too huge for our ears to listen to or hear to. But we know that whenever there is a movement, whenever there is some sort of a rotation or revolution or anything that is moving makes sound. Any substance that moves, it actually makes sound. So now, right now, I am sitting here. Now, my chair, myself, I am moving at a fantastic speed around the earth. I am told it is something like 1600 kilometers per hour. So I am moving right now. So if the earth is moving, if the universe is moving, if the sun is moving, the solar system is moving, everything is moving, science also tells us. If there is movement, then definitely there has to be sound. So thousands of years back or hundreds of years back, the rishis in the meditation, even today some rishis they claim, when they meditate, they are able to see things which normal eyes cannot see. It's called the third eye. And they are able to hear many things which normal ears cannot hear. So they believe that if there is movement, then there is sound. And that sound resembles the sound of Om. That is Om sort of sound. Now, this sound, it generates from below. When we try to say Om, the sound, all these sound producing part of our body from the mouth, from whether the lips, the tongue, the throat, right below our tummy, the sound, if you make the sound Om, you can feel that the sound, all the sound producing organ of our body gets involved in producing this sound. And since all part of the body gets involved, the sages believe this could be the sound of the universe, because it is the sound of the entire thing. The entire thing gets involved as the entire part of our body gets involved. You can try it. Close your eyes and just try to say Om. When you say this, you can feel that the sound is been generating right below your right down your belly, and it is coming upwards. So that is one thing. Secondly, when this sound of the universe, when we are talking about, if we try to attribute or we try to make this sound with any other, now as I told you there is sound, when the objects are moving, of course there has to be sound. So supposing we use some other alphabet or some other any other sound, it doesn't match with the sound of the universe. It may not sound suitable. Like for example, if I say Ka or K or A or B or S, these sounds, see, is it the way that the universe is moving, or Ku? Now all the sounds doesn't actually align with the sound. But when it comes to the Om, just imagine, just think for yourself that the sound O. So if the entire universe is moving, the sound that it may be producing, it could resemble this O sort of a sound, which is the Om sound. Now this Om, the sound Om in the Hindi and Sanskrit alphabets, all these sounds can be written down. So it is written how, like as I have seen on the right side, as you can see on the screen over here, it is as you can see here on the screen, it is the Om. This is the Om. This is Hindi or Sanskrit alphabet, where the U and that moon-like thing on the top gives a sound of Om. This alphabet in Hindi and Sanskrit is pronounced as Om, and Om is the sound which is attributed to the universe. That is Om, I told you. So for this particular reason, this became a symbol of Hinduism. That is, since we are not able to draw the Lord Almighty because He is formless, how can we draw something that is formless? So a symbol was needed to point towards the Almighty. Since a symbol was needed and since we are not able to draw, this alphabet, the Sanskrit alphabet or the Hindi alphabet or the Indian alphabet of Om was attributed to the sound, and this became, as we call it, the Pranava Mantram or the sound of the universe. It is called Omkaram or the Om, the sound. So what happens is, there is one and single God. All is God. Everything is God. All pervading, almighty God. That sense, that thought has to be there with every human being all the time. But then, as human beings, we sometimes, for many human beings, we need some object or something in front of us for many people to pray. I'm not talking about everybody. Many people, when they pray, they need some sort of object, something in front of them. So many other god and goddesses were created, which I will come later. So whatever is the deity in the temple, in the sanctum sanctorium, whichever deity is there, if you go to a Hindu temple, everywhere you will find the sign of the Om. Everywhere it is written that the symbol of the Om. So the symbol of Om is not a fundamental symbol. It reminds us of the universal truth, the eternal Lord, the formless Almighty God, which is also called Ananta Ajnata Avarni. Ananta, as I told you earlier, it is unlimited, it is infinite, shapeless, vast, beyond all description. So though it is beyond all description, we needed a symbol, a sign. So a symbol was created that is called the Om, which has now universally become the sign of Hinduism. It also becomes the sign of Hinduism. And if you go to the temple, whatever is the deity in the sanctum sanctorium, the sign of the Om will be seen on the flag, on the wall, on the gate, on the temple. Everywhere you will find the symbol of the Om, which tells us that the Lord Almighty is there everywhere, all throughout, whatever is the deity in the sanctum sanctorium. You can pray to the deity of your choice, but ultimately always remember that whatever you pray, whomever you pray, ultimately there is only one and only God, the single God, and that is the symbol of the Om or the Omkaram, which is the symbol of Hinduism. So I hope that one part is clear. Now, this universe, when we are talking about, just imagine, we are talking about the God Almighty, which is all pervading, I told you. And it is single, I told you. But this single God, as we need a symbol or a sign, as the Om, we said, we need some symbolism or we need some sign, though it is formless. A sign has been just attributed, though it is formless. Likewise, we also need a name. We are just attributing a name. It is formless beyond all imagination. Even then, for our convenience of conversation, for writing down, for showing, for exhibiting, for communication purpose, we need a name. So we attributed a name called Paramatma or Brahman. Now, never be confused with the word Brahma and Brahman. It's two different things, which I will come later on. So the ultimate God or the all-pervading God, we gave a symbol, and we also gave a name, that is Paramatma. So there is nobody up in the sky by the name Paramatma or Brahman. It's an all-pervading God, which we just we attributed a name. That's all. So it is Brahman or Paramatma. Paramatma means ultimate Atma. Atma means soul. Param means ultimate. Soul. And the Jivatma is the Atma of the living object. Jiva means life or living object. So the Jivatma is a soul of the living object, and Paramatma is the ultimate object. So we believe that everything comes from the Paramatma and goes back to the Paramatma. In between, there is life and rebirth and all those things, which I will come later on. So this is the concept. So we need a name. So we also gave a name, that is Paramatma or Brahman. Now, it's not that this particular God is only for Hindus or for the Hindu God or any other. No. This is all-pervading universal power. Now, if by logical sense you don't want to call it God, no problem. You can call it energy, you can call it universal power, omnipresent power, supernatural power, whatever name you want, you can call it. There is no restriction at all in Hinduism that this particular name has to be given. Sanskrit language or Hindi language, we used a particular attribution to that name, that's all. And it is all pervading, I told you. Now just imagine, we human beings, we are on planet Earth. And planet Earth is such a small portion when it comes to the universe. It is smaller than the dust particle on a table or on your hands. Smaller than the dust particle when it comes to the universe, because the universe consists of 200 billion galaxies. 200 billion galaxies we are talking about. The science is saying it approximately, it could be little less, little more. Science also is not accurate about it. Approximately science says there are about 200 billion galaxies. I'm not talking about 1000 galaxies. I'm not talking about 2000 galaxies. I'm not talking about 100,000 galaxies. It's 200 billion galaxies. Now, we are in a medium-sized galaxy of ours, and in that galaxy, it is called a spiral galaxy with spiral arms. There are spiral arms, like what do you say for that? Spiral, yeah. So we are in one of the medium-sized spiral arm, somewhere in the end, and our solar system, our sun is there in that spiral arm of our galaxy. In our galaxy, there are millions of such suns, such stars in our galaxy. We have not studied our galaxy also completely. So there are 200 billion such galaxies. Now the God, or if there is a creator, then the creator God is supposed to be the creator of 200 billion galaxies. We have not seen our galaxy also completely. And we are somewhere, I told you, in one of these spiral arms, somewhere at the end of one of our spiral arms. And we have not completely studied our solar system also perfectly. And we are on a small size planet called Earth. On that Earth, more than 70% is water. About 20 to 25% we have human settlement, less than 20% human settlement. And that 20%, about 7 billion people are there. And in that 7 billion people, we have so many religions. And every person says that only his religion is correct. Now this looks so weird. Just imagine the creator of 200 billion galaxy. If at all there is a creator, then there has to be only one and only creator. There cannot be many. The names may differ. In different languages you can call. In Hindi we say Paramatma or Brahman. In what do you say for that, English you may call God. Whichever language, whatever you want to call, you can call. But the single thing exists. It's like, three people fighting over a flower of rose. In Tamil language we say Roja, in Hindi we say Gulab, and both people fighting, hey idiot, this is not Roja, this is Gulab, and another person is saying, idiot, this is not Gulab, this is Roja, and a third Englishman saying, you both are idiots, you both are wrong, this is rose flower. And the flower is the same. One person holds a single rose flower and three people are arguing with different names, calling, but the rose is the same, whatever name you call. So the all-pervading energy, whether you want to call it, or the creator, whatever you want to call it, that supernatural power, if at all it's there, it is only one single supernatural power, all pervading, all controlling, or it's beyond human imagination. We human beings are too small to imagine anything about it. We cannot say anything about it. This is what Hinduism believes in. So Hinduism just gave it a symbol, one thing. Secondly, it just gave an attributory name to it. It's beyond all forms and formless, I told you. But for the convenience of communication and for the human communication, because of the limitations of human beings, we have attributed certain symbols, certain signs, certain names, and we have tried to give it a certain form, which I am coming into the next. Now, how the forms have been created, what are the symbols? Now there are no forms actually. In Hinduism, it is full of symbolisms. That symbolisms will be dealt in the next coming episodes. So in this, let me just make one thing clear, that in Hinduism, there is only God, that God has been symbolized, has been attributed a name, and the Om, which is the sign of the Hindus, that Om is nothing but the sound of the universe, and it is called the Prabanja Nadham. Nadham is the sound or the noise. Then now the music, the cosmic music or cosmic, I don't know if you can call it cosmic music, but it is the sound of the universe, because the universe is constantly moving and we believe that there is a sound, and if there is a sound, that sound will be something like ooh, sort of a sound which resembles the Hindi Sanskrit alphabet, that is Om. I hope this part has been cleared and I am able to convey my thought. If there is any doubt or any questions to be asked, please comment in my YouTube comment box. If you like this talk, please press the like button and subscribe this channel and share it with your friends. In my next episode, I will start from where I have stopped here, and I will try to explain the symbolisms and other factors of Hinduism. For now, goodbye. Have a nice day. Bye.